And I want to say Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I like your
I love it, right? Happy St. Patrick's Day. I have some green. I don't really have green. I don't really have clothes. Hi, welcome. Come on in, girl. All right. Well, legend says that with St. Patrick's Day, I didn't know that the leaf of the clover, they each have a meaning. And that the first leaf is for hope, the second one is for faith, and the third one is for love. And if you're lucky enough to find a 4-leaf clover, that's what the fourth one means. It means luck. Interesting. I didn't ever know that. And I don't really know, a lot of my friends who see me talk all the time, they love it when I just talk off the cuff and don't read from you. But I'm going to read a little bit about the legend of St. Patrick. I've never known it. Does anyone here know the legend of St. Patrick? It's okay. We'll hear it. Those on Zoom, you paying attention? All right. So the legend of St. Patrick has it that when he was 15 years old, he was kidnapped and sold into slavery. He spent 6 years tending to the sheep of his master. During that time, he prayed on the mountains. Every single day, he would recite over 100 prayers. And while watching the sheep, he would meditate on the 3-leaf clover. And one day, an angel appeared to him, giving him direction to flee to freedom. And off he fled, and he returned to Ireland, where he stood on a hill. And with a wooden staff, he drove the serpents into the sea, banishing them forever. This is a conscious cleansing. This is right up my alley, this stuff. I love it. So this is a conscious cleansing. And we are like the Patrick of old, that we fall into the slavery of our racing thoughts. And as those thoughts build and become part of our consciousness over the years, and some of us decades, right? They become our task maker, ruling our lives and keeping us bondage. All too familiar with this, aren't we? I talk about this all the time. So Patrick changed his thoughts, and he changed his consciousness. He returned to prayer. He went to the mountain, a high state of consciousness, a state of spiritual realization, and his thoughts returned to God and away from his bondage, away from his problems and his struggles. And he did this for 6 years. 6 is the number of days of creation. Okay? And having dominion over the ideas, the writer of this parable was clearly telling us that Patrick overcame the sense consciousness. He overcame living apart from the source of life. Patrick meditated upon, the 3-leaf clover, or shamrock, and this is the representation of mind, idea, and expression. So for 6 years, right, we're going to be talking about this in the power of the word a little bit. He didn't think about what he was and being a slave and where he was at. By looking at his outside senses of what we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, we become slaves to that reality and the slaves of the way that we think, that we need to turn that perception, turn that perspective. And we need to just come from within and see it the way we want to see it, regardless of what's showing us on the outside. And that takes a lot. It takes a real lot. So I think Brenda's speech, that was wonderful. Medicine bag and all the tools that we have. And power of the spoken word is what I'm going to be talking about today. We all realize and understand this, right? That the powers, the words, that they have effect on us. You know, be careful what we say to people. You know, you tell a little child something, and they might remember that to the day they die something and hold it with them. So are you going to make someone rise, or are you going to make someone fall? So those of you know that I'm here at Unity, that I've been just taking some fun classes. I don't want to become a minister. So I've taken Metaphysics 1, Metaphysics 2, and 3. And I'm about to take Metaphysics 4 next week. And in that, we use the word logos, like L-O-G-O-S, logos. And in the Greek translation of this, it's the word with a capital W. And the word logos is meaning your intention, your thought and feeling behind the words. So that's logos. It's more than just the word like, hey, you look great today. It's like, hey, you look really great today. And you really mean it and you feel it. We use words to express our thoughts and our ideas. And we carry the power of expressing our consciousness, whether we're doing it in a conscious way or a subconscious way. We're using our words as tools. So you need to choose carefully. The spoken word carries vibrations through the universe. You can almost hear it in my voice and the power and where it's going, right? So you need to choose, and choose with love. So Charles Fillmore was one of the founders of Unity. And he says here in this quote, "He who realizes most thoroughly that God is the supreme perfection, and that in God there can be no imperfection, and we speak forth in that realization with conviction, knowing that everything is arranging themselves to be in divine order." So what does that all mean? Well, we're missing the mark. That's the sin. We're all sinning because we're missing the mark, because we all are perfect the way we are. Can you imagine if we went through that? But no, we watch TV ads and they tell us, oh, you need this pill, or you need that, or you need to be airbrushed, or you need this shampoo or this conditioner. I mean, we're just bombarded constantly why we're not good enough. And you need to really look within, and we are. Can you imagine if everyone else thought that way, that we are in the perfect divine just the way we are? It's a little bit different. So the whole universe is in this vibration. And vibration is under law. I have a little pen here. Because there's many laws of the universe. There's the law of gravity. I love that one. There's the laws of polarity. Up, down, hot, cold. Doesn't mean one is better than the other. It just is. It's just life. There's the laws of rhythm. You know, spring, summer, fall, winter. The laws of Mother Nature. All the animals know. They know these laws. They just operate in accordance with it. Squirrels know to go collecting nuts. They don't read a book. I got to go collect nuts. It's winter's coming. So another law is a law of vibration. You can feel it. But most of you will know it as the secondary law we're familiar with, and that's the law of attraction. And that's what a law of attraction is. It's underneath the law of vibration, that what you're feeling, and feeling is the word for a name that when you're happy, you're just like, yeah, or joy or bliss. It's a vibration. And when you're angry or mad or upset, you can feel that. And you can bring that to you. So it's having this awareness of what we're thinking and knowing that everything in this world is in vibration. Everything. If you looked at your chair you're sitting on, or this, I've been told, under a microscope, although dense, it is vibrating. And you've heard me say this before, that we are, science can prove, looking at our atoms underneath, that we are 99.9% energy. And this mass you see up here today, Bobbi Joe, is only really 0.001% of who I am. Just a different way of thinking. So, when we use our voice, let's use it in a way that makes us rise. So we can, when we sing, Brenda sings a lot, we have this vibration. And when we use our singing and we use higher thinking, like setting an intention, every cell in this body is then put into action. And then that's also going out into the universe. We'll sing in a little while, we'll sing the gratitude song. Gratitude before me, right? We all know, gratitude behind me. And just really sing it and feel it. And all these cells in the body, when you're happy, they're happy, and then we're not at dis-ease with ourselves anymore. Our bodies want to heal, they want to create, they want to vibrate. So it's really important, the vibration of our words and what we're saying every day. And what are we saying to other people? Because everybody can sing. And we all should sing nice and loud and own your voice. And don't let anyone else tell you don't have a great voice. So we sing with a playful heart of joy and peace, knowing that we are the divine. Knowing that we are in divine harmony with the universe. And that when we sing with power, we are raising our vibration. Knowing that what's true in our hearts and true in our own souls. So make a playlist that just makes you jam out and just play and sing. That's an easy, cheap way to do it. You don't have to get up and say a million affirmations. Play your favorite playlist and just dance it. Feel it. Sing with passion. And we are going to end today with that song, you might have sang it before with us, One Voice. We put the lyrics up. I want to hear all of you belting it out and leave on a high vibration today. Use the power of our voice to make change within ourselves and our world by the initiation of our vibration. But let's be conscious of it. Let's have awareness of it. So there was a book out decades ago, The Hidden Messages in Water. You might have known it as Dr. Masaru Emoto. All right, I know a lot of you, right? And he took this high-speed photography. So he took glasses of water and he'd put love around it and put good words or put music, and they would freeze it. And then he'd look at that underneath a microscope and he would see the crystals, and they would be all this light formation and be beautiful. And then play Beethoven. And then he took the other glasses of water and he'd play like heavy metal and put anger and shame and guilt and these low vibrating things around it. And when he looked at those crystals later, he saw darkness in it, and they were black. But the other thing is that, it's all science. Was it his thoughts that were doing it? So there's other things. If he's like, oh, this one will be dark. So you have to be careful of what goes on, but your thoughts are so powerful. So it is the power of the spoken word, but it is the power of what our intentions are and what we really think. Because it's important to remember here that there's an underlying factor. And what is that? It's your belief. And that makes it a little hard, that if you can say something 1,000 times over, but if you don't have the belief, you're still vibrating in that sense of lack. So you got to override it. And every single person in here, we are all creating our reality with the words we are using to express ourselves. So what are you saying to yourself? What have you said this morning? If you talked to someone on the phone, what were you talking about? Were you bringing yourself up and rising? But it's all based on our levels of consciousness. That's the part. So are we aware? Are you aware of what you're really thinking? What you're really feeling behind the words that you're saying? I just want you to think about it. I'm from New England, I can talk. People say, did you even breathe? No. So it says, although if you could consciously understand that the infinite intelligence, the divine orders, is always working with us, it wants what we want, regardless of our belief, that we can override those outdated beliefs. And if you can sit in the stillness of your mind, capital M mind, sit in that stillness and come from the awareness that you're the same part of this whole universe. Every single one of us are all part of that same big greatness. And we can start repeating our words over and over and over with the realization that they come from the truth that life, substance, intelligence, and power are all behind what you're saying and creating. If you really knew this and understood it, you wouldn't really talk very much. You would realize. Because what we do, a lot of times, we just diarrhea of the mouth, right? I know in my 20s, I would hate to see a video of me and my 20-year-old, and just whatever, just talking to talk and no silence in between. But when we do this, we gradually settle into the subconscious part of the mind by doing these affirmations, by having awareness of what we're talking about and setting that intention. Because it's our subconscious mind. We've talked about this before. The neuroplasticity tells us that we only use 2 to 4% of our conscious mind. Mm-hmm. So we're operating, say, 96% of the day by our subconscious thoughts. But if you can harness that awareness and know what you're speaking about and know with your intentions what you want, then you can override that. Then that conscious thought rides it over a little bit more and a little bit more, and you can override that belief. We get to choose. We get to choose. We can change anything in our lives. I've known people to lose weight by just looking in the mirror at themselves differently. Remember that ALS story I told a few weeks ago? Remember the woman had ALS, and she actually, when she just could look in the mirror and loved herself, they gave her 6 months to live. It was the people had to, some people don't know this story. So there was a story that we were told a few weeks ago by Greg Tamlin, a musician. And there was a woman who had ALS, and she didn't know, and she was only in her 30s, and by the time they found out, she was in a wheelchair, and they gave her only 6 months to live. And she thought, what do I want my last 6 months of my life? And she thought, I want to love me. And she always had issues with her weight and how she looked, but she just stood in that mirror and did it every day, 20 minutes, 3 times a day, and loved her. And guess what? She's only one of the people that ever has survived ALS, and she's still alive and living. The power of love. Power of not seeing what you see and turning your focus and just having that faith and that belief inside. And that's all the spoken word. The minute you get out of bed, we're speaking to ourselves. It doesn't have to be out loud like this. Right? We're in our own heads and they're hello, hello, hello. And so what are we saying every day to ourselves? And so that's another thing that unity we do here. Is it's denials and affirmations. So maybe you would think about it. This is where the work comes in. The tools that I'm giving you, that you would go home and do this. You write out a list of all the things. Maybe you're not the best gardener, or you want to catch more fish, or you want to quilt more, or whatever you think it is. Whatever your denials in your life are, whether it's your health, your wealth, your whatever it is, your environment. Write out all those denials. But then on the other side, look at it and return it to the positive, the polarity, right? The laws of polarity. And what is the opposite of that? And write that out. And then pick out your top 5. And every day work on those 5 things and just switch what you're thinking. It takes work. You just can't show up to work here, listen, or in the morning and first thing in the morning and listen for 5 minutes. It's a conscious effort, hour after hour, set an alarm. But you can't override that. Because what's the ultimate reality here, right? We want more peace. We want to be healthy. We want to live our lives joyously. We don't want to be struggling. So you got to look at the power of the word and what we're saying to ourselves. And have such clarity about your truth, not my truth, your truth. And not the truth of what's on TV. We talk about that a lot here at Unity when I speak. Sometimes we're conditioned in thinking we're wanting things because we've been so overloaded with marketing and out there. Do I even really want that sweater? No, everyone else has one, that Rolex, whatever it is. What do you really want? And getting that clarity, because we're all just walking each other home is what I really like to say. You know that meme, and that's it. It all comes to love and oneness and using the power of the word to help each other rise. Not coming from a place of lack, but a place of joy and bliss. And those are high vibrations. We've done the map of consciousness before. Enlightenment, love, peace, and joy are all at the top. They're all vibrate at 700, 800, 600 vibration, whatever hertz is. Shame and guilt, resentment, they're really low. So when you catch yourself in that, it's having the awareness that I'm there, and then just changing that perception and filling yourself with love. And what is a better way sometimes when we're feeling icky is make other people rise. And you feel better yourself. Make a care package for a friend. Go around the house and pick out things that you haven't used in a while and send a care package. I mean, there's so many ways to shift that in spreading love and joy, and that's what it does, right? We talked about this a few weeks ago. Michael Jackson said it best. That's how I ended last time I spoke. Michael Jackson says it best. You're starting with the man in the mirror. If you want to see the world be a better place, you take a look at yourself and you make that change. Because when you love you, then you can love everyone around you, and you're not pointing those fingers where 3 are just coming right back at you. So I have a little story to talk about today, about the tale of the 2 wolves. And I'm sure you've heard this once, twice, or 3 times, but try to have fresh ears and listen to it, because I have a little thing at the end of how we were related. So the story of the 2 wolves is that there's an old Cherokee Indian, and he's teaching his grandson about life. And he says, there's a fight going on inside of me, and it's a terrible fight. And it's between 2 wolves. One of the wolves is evil. He's full of anger, envy, sorrow, guilt, shame, greed, regret, arrogance, self-pity, resentment, lies. We know. Wah, 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 ego. Then he says the other is full of good. He's the good wolf, and he's full of joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, love. And the same fight is going on in you, he said to his grandson. And inside every other person, we have these two wolves. So the grandson thinks for a minute, and he asks his grandfather, well, which wolf wins? And the grandfather replied, the one you feed. I get a little goosebumps at that. So I brought this in here today. This is the good wolf. And this is a jar that we have. And every time you have a positive, powerful words, right? You're putting those little marbles in and you're filling it up. What are you thinking? What are you saying? What are you creating, right? Every time it's a consciousness, because every day you have a choice between the good wolf or the bad wolf. It's a sad face. And it's your powerful thoughts and it's your negative, disempowering thoughts. So when you get up and you even go, oh my God, it's raining. Negative. But how do you switch it to make it the affirmative? You're learning things today. Oh, my car's having all that pollen washed off. I don't have to water the flowers outside. You got to switch your perception. You got to switch it all so that in the end, when you're counting them all up, the end of your day, ta-da, you have the good thoughts. But every day it's your thought, it's your choice, what you do, what you choose to do. You're the one driving the car, nobody else. So we want to feed the good wolf in us, and we want to bring that out in others around us. There's enough air, there's enough love, there's enough money, there's enough this. Nobody needs to be holding back. I'm insecure. Spread it. That's what I'm doing up here. I don't want to think I need to be a speaker before I walked in here 4 years ago. Just going with the flow of what the universe wants from me. And so truly, I mean, I'm just walking. I am not always walking my talk. Ask my husband back there. Right, Fred? But I am. But that's why I'm like lucky. I could cry. I'm lucky that I get to be up here, because when you talk about it and you really feel it, you start to walk the talk more and more. And Reverend Carol sitting right behind you is like shaking her head. Yes, I am not a saint. I am working through all this. I'm called what is called a human being. And I could cry because I really had a hard week, and I was screaming out some stuff, and I was trying to be like, you are the light. And it wasn't really working. Denise Rosier, you should put her up on YouTube. You are the light. I am the light, as I was screaming and crying. And it just wasn't working, but it's fine, because then another day happens, and then there you are. Another day, and actually went over to a friend's house for dinner. So yeah, you're having a crappy day, get out of the house. Don't torture yourself in the house anymore. Go to a friend's house. So, in closing, what I really want to say, and I'm short and sweet today, is that use the power of the word consciously so that it sticks, that you're coming from that highest form of truth, which is you. You are divine light. You are God itself. It says there, be still and know that I am God. That was a weird thing for me to have read 4 years ago and even a year ago. The more you hear it, the more you're like, okay, I'm more and more a dog. I get it. I have 3 dogs. Great. But that we're all that divine spark within. We truly are. And that's what a congregation like this is, to help each other rise, to be on the same page. So can you imagine? I mean, that's how I coach in a way, is that I'm a power, you're a power, you're a power, you're a power, and then we have divine power. Edison knew this. He always would come up with thoughts. He would think, I'm going to take a nap. I want to know this universe. And he would put a ball in his hand, and he'd be sitting in his chair. He'd take a nap, and when he fell asleep, his hand would relax, the ball would open, it hit the plate, and he'd wake up, and there would be the thought. So there's other divine intelligence. So the more that there are of us together, right, we all talk about what we don't want to see in war. Well, together in power and prayer and being affirmative, you can push it the other way. You really can. So when we are using that power of the spoken word, we're creating our experiences in this world. So use your words wisely. Choose them wisely. And that's all I really have for you with this last meme that I showed about 2 years ago. It is, think before you speak. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? No great epiphanies here. It's really simple. Love ourselves first and love our fellow, and that's how we change the world, right? One day at a time, one thought at a time, one word at a time. Thank you. Now we're back to me. meditation? Yeah, forgot already. Do you mind hitting those lights a little low, someone? Great. So Brenda's going to play music. We don't need to play the music on the TV, Brenda. So we're just going to spend about 5 minutes in a nice meditation. So I just want you to just, unwind. My eyes are closed the whole time. So what I want you to do is if your legs are crossed, plant them on the floor flat. Maybe uncross your feet, uncross your hands. And slowly take a nice deep breath into the belly, the diaphragm. And then witness when that fills up that we start to come into our lungs. Following the breath in, and then following the breath out. Following the breath in, and following it out. And just giving your body permission to relax every muscle, every tendon, every cell. Relax your facial muscles, and relax your shoulders. And just follow the breath in. For when we breathe deeply, we get out of that fight or flight. And we let go of the week. We let go of yesterday. We even let go of this morning. Because all we have right now is the present, the here and now. And we get to create anything we want, regardless of what yesterday brought us. Every day is a new day. So erase those thoughts of yesterday that were in lack. And bring love and greatness in today. Just listen to those bells in the heart chakra bowl and feel the vibration. And I'd like for each of you to think of what it is in your life that's your number one issue. What is it that you've been complaining about the most lately? And then try to switch that. What's the opposite of that? Now I want you to bring that affirmation in, whatever it is. Breathe it into every cell of your body. And we have trillions of cells. So knowing that with each deep breath that we bring into our body, we are oxygenating all those trillions of cells. And with that, you're going to infuse this new affirmation that you are awesome, that you are great, that you can do it, that you are just the most amazing person ever. You are love. And just breathe that in. And if you're holding on to anything else physically, mentally, emotionally that no longer serves you, exhale it out. Goodbye. Inhaling love in the affirmation. Deep. Breathe it in. Feel it in your heart chakra.